guys, welcome back to my channel. So in today's video, I'm gonna be putting on some makeup, which is why I look like this right now. And I'm really excited because I feel like it's been a while since I've done a makeup tutorial on here. And I thought that it would be fun today to do a more simple step-by-step tutorial for beginners. So if you are new to makeup, trying to get into makeup, and want something that is not super complex, something that's really easy to follow, something that isn't way too heavy, then this is for you. Or if you are not a beginner at makeup, but are also just looking for something that is a little bit more simple, then I think that this would also be great. So without further ado, let's get into the video. Just wanna get your hair out of the way, and then we're gonna go ahead and get started with some primer. This is one of my favorite primers. It's the Makeup Forever Hydrating Primer. I really like to use hydrating primers and products because I think it just sets a really nice, hydrated, smooth base for your skin. So I am just going to apply this with my fingers. Next, instead of going in with like a really heavy foundation, we're actually going to be going in with a tinted moisturizer. So this is my all-time favorite one. It's the Laura Mercier tinted moisturizer. So this is not going to be anything full coverage. It's going to feel really lightweight, honestly feel more like a moisturizer than anything, but it does also have a light tint to it, so it is going to help to smooth out your skin, make it look really nice, but also really natural. And since it isn't super heavy or super full coverage, it's pretty much impossible to mess this up. So this is something that honestly I like to use all the time. I feel like I reach for this more than a normal foundation, but also great for beginners. And oftentimes I will apply this just with my fingers, but I also like to sometimes apply it with a brush. That's what I'm gonna be doing today. And I'm gonna be using the Real Techniques Expert Face Brush. And I'm just going to be buffing that in. And I also like to take it down the neck just to make sure it all looks really nicely blended in. So as you can see, this is just like super dewy and beautiful. And I almost feel like this would maybe be too much just like completely on its own. But once you start adding like other powder products on top and actually set it with a powder, it is like perfection. So just keep that in mind. It will be a little bit less dewy as you add products on top. So next we're going to be going in with a concealer. And my favorite concealer to use is the Becca Aqua Luminous Concealer. It's also super lightweight, really blendable. There's some other concealers out there like Tarte Shape Tape, for example, that are a lot thicker and harder to work with. So I would say if you're starting out, start with something like this that is a little bit more blendable and just easy to work with. So I'm gonna put this underneath my eyes to obviously conceal dark circles. I also like to put it a little bit on the inner corners because I feel like I get some darkness there. I like to put it around my nose because I get some redness there, and then also over any spots. And then to blend that out, I am going to be using the Real Techniques setting brush. And I kind of like to like dab it in first and then like blend it out. Especially around any spots, you don't wanna just go in and blend it super heavily because then you might actually be taking the concealer off the spot. So I think it's better to just kind of lightly buff on and around the spot. And also for this, I would recommend picking a concealer that matches your skin tone a little bit better versus a super bright concealer. I think bright concealers work really well when you do have more coverage, but when you're wearing something like this that's a bit more lightweight, it just blends in a lot better if it matches your skin tone a bit better. So once concealer is done, we're going to move on to setting everything. So first I'm going to be going in with the Laura Mercier translucent powder, and I'm going to be taking a sponge. This one is Real Techniques, and this is what I'm going to be using to set my under eyes. So you're gonna just kind of pack a little bit of powder onto your sponge like this, and then start to slowly pack it underneath your eye where you put the concealer. The reason that I like to use something like this underneath my eyes is because that's the area that I really want to make sure the concealer remains really light at. And since that is a translucent powder, it just really helps to maintain that brightness under the eye. You could totally use it for the rest of your face too, but I just prefer to use more of like a pressed powder for the rest. So for the rest of my face, I'm going to set it with the MAC Studio Fix. And I'm in the shade NW25, and I'm going to use just a big fluffy brush for that. For this, you want to really press the powder into your face versus just swiping it all over. And that's just gonna make it really set everything nicely. Now that we have the tinted moisturizer and concealer set in place, we're going to move on with other powders like bronzer, blush, and highlight. So I always like to start with bronzer. Today I'm gonna be using my Hua bronzer by Benefit. This is a really, really great one. So to start off, I think it's really great to contour around your cheekbones. So what you can do to help define that area is kind of suck in a little bit like this. And then see how that kind of helps like you find that defined area. So you honestly just want to follow that line with your bronzer. And I take it about halfway down my face, so kind of towards like the middle of my eye, I would say. And you want to make sure you use a really light touch so that the product gets evenly dispersed across your face and it doesn't look patchy. Honestly, bronzer is just like my favorite thing in the world. So once you have those areas defined, then you're going to go in and use bronzer across the outside of your face. So think of it like a 3. So you're going to kind of follow your hairline up at the top, make sure it's blended in there, follow across where you just contoured across your cheeks, and then to end it, you're going to take it down across your jawline. And then I also like to take it down my neck, again, just so everything is really nice and blended in together. Don't put away your bronzer yet because I think it's just one of those magical products that you can use in lots of places. So I'm also going to use this as an eyeshadow for today. So you're gonna grab a big fluffy brush. I like to use MAC 224. Pop that into your bronzer, shake off any excess, and then you're gonna go ahead and swoosh this across your crease. Again, you wanna use a gentle pressure so that the powder is evenly distributed and it's not too harsh on one area of your eye. But literally just think like windshield wipers in your crease. Then I also think it looks really amazing when you have the bronzer on your lower lash line as well. So I'm gonna take a different brush. This is the Real Techniques shading brush. So it's just a lot smaller, more dense, not as fluffy. Also going to be dipping that into the same bronzer, tapping off any excess, and running that across the lower lash line. And there you have it, eyeshadow done. Literally the easiest thing ever. You can use bronzer that you already have and it looks so good. I do this all of the time. So now I'm going to move on to blush, and I feel like blush is honestly having like a big comeback moment. I feel like people are starting to appreciate blush a lot more again. This blush is so amazing. It's the Milani Baked Blush in Luminoso. Look how beautiful that is. I mean, oh my God. To put this on, I'm gonna be using the blush brush from Real Techniques. You guys can tell I like their brush products a lot. An easy way to put on blush is just to smile and then put it on the high points of your cheeks and then kind of brush it outwards. And then I also think it looks really cute when you put the tiniest dab in the middle of your nose, just so it looks super natural and sun-kissed. Finally, for highlighter, if you guys have watched my channel for a bit, you've definitely heard me talk about this before. It's hard for me to hold up because it's literally broken. But this is the Laura Geller highlighter in Gilded Honey. It's so beautiful, just the perfect golden highlight, I think. Then I like to apply my highlighter with a little fan brush. This one is from Smashbox. So the easiest way to apply highlighter, if you're not sure where to put it, is to kind of look to the side and almost go a little bit above where you put your blush, like right here, and then whatever you have left over, put there. So you're kind of making a C shape around your eye, but concentrating it right here on the top of your cheek. Then with anything that you have left on from one half of your face, you can go ahead and highlight your nose. So you're gonna wanna do the top of your nose, and then you can also put a little bit down the bridge of it. So then for the other side, you're gonna do the same thing on the cheeks, but instead of using any excess to put on your nose, you're going to go in and highlight the top of your lip right here on your Cupid's bow. And then finally, just like we use the bronzer for eyeshadow, I'm also going to use this highlight for an inner corner eyeshadow. I think that this just makes your eyes pop so much. So you're gonna pop some of that highlight onto a brush and put it in your inner corners. And this is going to just really make your eyes look so much more bright. And it's just gonna have a really big impact without having to do a complicated eyeshadow look. Now moving on to like my favorite part of makeup personally, which is mascara. I just think it makes such a big impact. So my favorite mascara to use is the Too Faced Better Than Sex mascara. And for pretty much most of my life up until a couple months ago, I would always just go straight into mascara. But I've recently realized the power of having a lash curler. So if you're a beginner, or honestly just anyone like me who does not like to wear falsies on like a day-to-day basis, or really just that often at all, then I think that using an eyelash curler can really help make your mascara go that much farther. So I've tried curling my lashes at various points in my life and felt like it honestly didn't do that much, so I kind of just never used it. But I have realized recently that the type of eyelash curler you have actually does make a difference. So a few months ago I bought this eyelash curler. I think I got it from Sephora. I'll link everything that I'm talking about down below in the description box for you guys, but this is the Kevyn Aucoin one and it works so well. And I honestly was like mad at myself that it took me so long to just get a good eyelash curler that actually worked. So recommend giving this one a try. And I like to use eyelash curlers before my mascara just so they don't get like dirty and gross from the mascara. And I also like to do it in sections. So rather than just going in once and holding it there, I kind of do it in like 2 to 3 pieces, working my way up the eyelash. And I think that really helps give it that full curl. All right, so now that they are curled, ready to move on to mascara. And if you don't want to use an eyelash curler, you totally don't have to. But if you do want to take your mascara that one step further without having to use falsies, then I think it does make a difference. All right, so going in with Better Than Sex mascara. So for mascara, the trick here is to start at the bottom and really wiggle your way up, and make sure you wiggle all the way up through the top of the lash. And I like to put a pretty good amount on. And then for bottom lashes, I don't go back into the tube. I just use whatever is left on the wand and use that on the bottom. Can you guys see the difference? Like mascara versus no mascara? I feel like it just makes such a huge difference. Going to move on to eyebrows. If you are new to doing makeup, eyebrows can be a little bit intimidating for sure. I think like an amazing product to use for your eyebrows that is just so easy and perfect for beginners or anyone just looking to do something super quick is the Benefit Gimme Brow. It literally is just a little spoolie like this that has some brow product on it. So it's not gonna give you a super filled in, like intense, perfect brow, but it is going to make an impact to your brows in a really, really easy way. You're gonna dip it back in, get some more product on the brush, and then you're going to go in the opposite direction to make sure your eyebrow hairs are super, super coated. It looks kind of funny like this. And then one final time, you're gonna go in and brush them all in the right direction. And this is where you can really go in and like kind of shape them from the top and the bottom. Make sure they're the way you want them to be. So for lips, I think you cannot go wrong with using a beautiful gloss. You don't have to worry about messing up any lip liner or your lipstick, and it just always looks so beautiful no matter what. So you guys know I rave about this. It's literally my all-time favorite gloss. It's by Fenty Beauty, and it is their Gloss Bomb in Fenty Glow. It is the most comfortable gloss to wear, and I think just the most beautiful. So you're just gonna pop that all over your lips. As a final step, I always like to go in with a setting spray just to make sure that all the work that you just did stays in place. So this is my favorite one, the Urban Decay All Nighter Spray. So you're gonna wanna shake the bottle, close your eyes, hold it. I think it says 8 to 10 inches away. And then it says to mist 2 to 4 times, but I probably missed a little bit more than that. More like 6 to 8 times, if I'm being honest. All right, and that is it. I love the way that this looks. I think it makes your skin look so good. So I really hope that you guys enjoyed this video. I hope that it was really helpful for any of you who are beginners. If you want to see more videos from me, then hit that subscribe button, and I will see you guys again very soon in my next video. Bye!